Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for today's webinar on Boardmaker 7. So today we're going through the overview of the new Boardmaker 7. I'm Michael Brazel, I'm the product specialist of Safeguard Technologies. So Boardmaker itself, Boardmaker 7. So with Boardmaker 7, there's four kind of elements to it. The first is creating your boards. The second is finding your boards. So first of all, you can create your boards using printable and interactive. Okay, you can create from scratch or you can use the template ones, and you can do that by using the find section on the Boardmaker 7 editor. You can also use the interactive boards as well. And you can also assign and collect data, which I'll talk about now in a while on the Boardmaker student app. So basically with Boardmaker 7, there's three areas you'll see. You've got the editor, you've got My Boardmaker, and you've got Student Center. So the editor is the section where you'd actually create your boards. So say, for example, if you're creating your printable boards or if you're creating interactive boards, you do it from there. And again, you can do that from basically from scratch, use the ones existing that are there already, or use previous ones that you would have had as on the previous subscriptions as well. The My Boardmaker then is your community. So you'll see on the My Boardmaker, you can access community, which I'll show you in more detail now. And you can, find other people's work that's there. You can also access things for students as well. And that brings me on to Student Center, where you can assign your work to different students as well, depending on the instructors themselves. Okay, so as I mentioned, My Boardmaker itself, you can store on that as well. So you have your cloud storage for all your boards. You've got the community where you can kind of connect with people and use their boards. You've got the curriculum, which will be talked about in more detail tomorrow. So tomorrow's webinar will be on the core words learning and reading avenue and things like that. So you have that curriculum side. You've also got managing your account as well. So you can actually, if you are, say, for example, the admin, you can manage the instructors on the account. And then you have data collection. So for the instructors that are on the account, the students then can, submit their work through their Student Center app automatically. And that then goes to the instructors and they can collect the data and analyze that data. The Boardmaker 7 editor, it's available on Windows, Mac, and Chromebook. It's got 45,000 plus PCS symbols in different styles. So there's 4 different symbol styles. You have your original, then you have your thin line, you've got your in context, and you've got your high visual ones as well. You can print or you can use interactive boards. And as I mentioned, you can create from scratch. There's 400 plus templates, and you can also use the ready-made materials or your old resource that you would have had on previous subscriptions. It also has integrated web search for images as well. So as you can see from my image on my right-hand side of the computer, you've got your images in your board. To the right-hand side, you've got where your symbols are, and you'll see you can search the symbols, you can search my media on the computer, and you can also do that web search as well, the integrated web search to find things online as well. And then from your boards as well, you can print them. So obviously when you have them, you can print them to a PDF as well. As you can see again from the computer image, you've got up the top right next to play, create PDF. Okay, so the Boardmaker 7 Student Center app, that is available on iPad, Windows, Mac, Chromebook, Android, and Tobii Dynavox devices. Unlimited downloads on that, and its access methods you're able to use it on eye gaze, switch, mouse, touch, and you can access personalized resources and ready-made materials. And the usage and performance is tracked as well. As I mentioned, that goes back to the instructor. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide later on. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly go to my Boardmaker and just show you that there now. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to go to my Boardmaker. So I'm just going to go on there now to Boardmaker. Okay, just bear with me now. I'll get that up. It's just loading there now. Okay, so when you log into your Boardmaker, you do that using a My Tobii Dynavox account, which was previously talked about in one of our 7 sessions. So once you're logged in, you'll see here you have your Boardmaker basically, so My Boardmaker. So up just above My Boardmaker, you have your different areas. You've got My Boardmaker, you've got curriculum, you've got students, activities, community, and admin. So the first one is My Boardmaker, and that's basically what's linked to your account. So you'll see from this section, you can create your activities, and that brings you back to the editor. You can select your activities that are here, and you can share them, for example, as well. So say, for example, if you were using the word, one camping, which is 3 down below, what I can do is I can go over, and you'll see there's kind of the blue sections, these buttons. I can select the 4th one in, which is the person and the arrow, assign activity. And what I can do then is I can select the student I want to assign that to. So we'll see, for example, here we've got Demo Dave. I can select him and I can press assign. And then what that will do is that will assign it to the the Student Center app, which I'll show you in a while. And then automatically that activity can be done. And the work that's done will automatically go back to the instructor once it's done, just to let them know and they can analyze. Okay, from the next part then, so you have my Boardmaker, then you have got the curriculum section, which will be talked about in more detail tomorrow. You've got the Boardmaker Core First Learning, you've got the Boardmaker Reading Avenue section, and Boardmaker Expedition Education. So from there, obviously, then you can kind of access different kind of activities and activities to go and different types of curriculum, which Connor will go into more detail tomorrow. Next up, we've got the student section. Under the student section, you've got different areas you can do student management. So say, for example, that demo Dave that I was working on, I can click student management and I can add or remove him, or I can, change the activities that are under there as well. So we'll see, for example, we have the list here now of the different students that I will be working with. I can go down to demo Dave, I can select him, and I can see here now, I have these are what are assigned to him. This is his progress and so on and so forth. And if I just jump back one step, if I wanted to remove Demo Dave, for example, I have this section down the bottom, remove, and I can export all usernames and passwords if I need to a CSV file as well. So next up, we've got our activities. And again, that will be talked about in more detail tomorrow, where you have your activities to go and so on and so forth. Next, we have community, and community is where you can access. So say, for example, I can click on my friends, and then here we have Tina Fozzie from Toby Dynavox. So automatically then, with the people that I've connected with, I can use and share their resources as well between ourselves. Then next, we've got the admin section, and the admin section is for anyone who's kind of above the instructors. They can manage the instructors that are on the account, and they can add or remove people as well to the account as well. So that is the My Boardmaker section. So what I'm going to do now is bring you into the editing side of things. So if I go on to Boardmaker Editor, okay, I'm just going to open that up there now. So Boardmaker 7 Editor, when you open it up, you will see there you will automatically have the My Boardmaker section here, or you have recent. So I'll just jump up to recent. There's no recent ones here. So the left-hand side is where I want to draw your attention to first of all. So from here, I can start a new activity. I can open one, or I can go straight to my community, which will bring me back onto my Boardmaker. So in this case, what I'm going to do is click on New. And you'll see under new, you've got the different areas. So we can create an activity from blank, and depending on whether it's portrait or landscape or interactive, we select them. You can click on your recently used ones. I can add stuff to my favorites. As you can see, there's one of my favorites, or I can go to printable or interactive boards. We will also, during the week as well, we have a day on printable and we have a day on interactive boards as well. So we'll be going into more detail of how to actually create those boards during the week. But today what I'm going to do is to kind of show you an overview of each area. So in the printable section, for example, I have different things like, for example, behavioral supports. I can create these behavioral supports, for example, token boards, or I can create, note home or reinforcers. I can do all different types of those kind of behavioral supports. I can also do books, so I can actually create my own interactive books. I can go to communication, and I can create my own communication board. So say, for example, I'll select this communication board here. When I open this up, this will give me the communication book, and I can actually use this particular book. I can download this. So you'll see you have your core words section. You've also got, say, for example, your little words. You've got your personal. And these, again, are completely editable. So as I scroll over, you'll see there's buttons I can select. And you've also got the tabs on the right-hand side. So you can actually make a book out of this and keep this at home as a PEX board or things like that. So if I jump back again, I'll show you a few more there now. So we've got community. And what I want to show you next is under printable, there's device overlays as well. So into that there now. So we have got device overlays. So with device overlays, for example, if someone's using GoTalk, I can go into GoTalk, and in here I have the templates. Depending on the type of GoTalk it is, I can create those boards and I can put them into my GoTalk. Or if I scroll down here again under GoTalk, sorry, I can go to, just bear with me now. We have got Quick Talk, which is, it's alphabetical order. We have it here. Again, we have our Quick Talk. So we have our 3 different types of Quick Talk boards. Again, I can create those boards and I can add them in and print them off and put them into my Quick Talker then as well. Okay. So that is your Boardmaker 7. And this is the editor. And lastly, what I want to show you now is the Student Center app. So in the Student Center app, okay, what I'll do is I'll just refresh that there now. It's just loading, and you'll see that activity, the camping activity that I assigned a while ago, that's there now as well. So I can download that there, and that's downloaded onto my device. So now I can go into that activity and I can play that activity if I want to. So then I can stop the activity. So I'll just go back there and just show you. So you'll see from this particular area you have, if I just make it bigger actually for you, you have your activities there that you can actually use and interact with. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize there now. So as I mentioned, there is the Boardmaker 7, okay, editor. There is obviously the My Boardmaker, and there's obviously the Student Center app. But with Boardmaker 7, there's two different types of Boardmaker 7 to go for. So whether it's standard or subscription, there's two different options, okay? So I'm just going to jump back to my slides here now for you. Okay, so just to bring you to this slide, the attention to this slide basically. So you have your Boardmaker 7. So with Boardmaker, if you were to go for a subscription, you have unlimited editor, you have every 2 weeks updated symbols, you've got access to the Student Center app, you've got access to My Boardmaker, you've got access to the community, and you've got access to the curriculum. If you go for the standard version, you have access on 2 devices. Okay, so when I mentioned, actually, sorry, going back to the editor of the organization, it depends on obviously how many logins you do go for when you're purchasing them. But with the standard, it's just a 2 purchase, and you have your 2 accesses, one off purchase, and 2 accesses. So you have 2 activation codes. Then you don't actually have access to the other areas, but you do have access to community. So you can still go into the My Boardmaker community, and you can still connect with people and still use their boards as well. And with the curriculum, you have a sample theme 1, and whereas with the organization, you have 10 plus sample themes and 40 plus units. So with standard, as I mentioned, you have the 2 installations per license. So you have access to computers, access to software, okay? So you install it on 2 computers and you have those 2 activations on those, and that's a one-off payment of €349 plus VAT. Whereas if the subscription, then you basically log in with the user account to activate use of organizations. So the price of that is $823.50 plus VAT for 1 year, and that gives you access to 5 logins. You can purchase for more as well if you want, but obviously then, you know, it depends on how many purchases, whether you go for 5 or 10, the price differs then as well for that. With the subscriptions as well, and if you're assigning to students, what will happen when you assign to students as well, obviously each instructor gets 10 student licenses. So when each instructor gets 10 student licenses, for example, 5 instructors will get 50 students licenses. So they can actually assign to 5 or to 10 different devices then to the My Boardmaker app then, or to the Student Center app, apologies. Okay. So that is pretty much going back to the Boardmaker 7. I'll go to there now again for you. Yeah, so that is pretty much the Boardmaker. So I'm just going to go back to My Boardmaker again, just to kind of go over that again. So I kind of glanced over My Boardmaker. I just want to show you that again in more detail. So here we have the different areas of My Boardmaker. So if I was to select, if I'm in My Boardmaker online, if I was to select Create Activity, what that's going to do is that's going to jump me back to My Boardmaker 7 editor, and I can edit my activities from there. Again, creating the activity set would be similar. If I want to upload an activity, I can upload as well a single activity or multiple different activities, and I can create folders as well. So what you will find as well is that, say, for example, if you have someone on Snap Core First, you can actually have, say, for example, a folder on Snap Activities. And you'll see down below here now, 4 folders down, you've got Snap Activities. And what that is actually doing for me is that if I want to add activities to my Snap, I can automatically put them into that folder. And if I log into My Boardmaker on Snap Core First, those activities will appear on my actual Snap Core First. And what I can do from that particular area then is I can link my Snap Core First and my communication. So if I'm using my communication, for example, I'm on a communications board, so I'm using the core words, but I'm also maybe playing a game. Actually, I suppose if we're using a game, for example, what I might do is maybe use the game's topic. So using your turn, my turn, and things like that, and actually relating that to an activity of a game on Boardmaker. They work hand in hand as well, so it'd be great to link those as well for you. Okay, so that is pretty much Boardmaker in a nutshell.